abiotic potential. Okay, now take the next question. In spite of interspecific competition in nature, got it? In spite of, I've told you that all the interactions are interspecific interactions only, right? In nature, which mechanism the competing species might have evolved for their survival? They are also giving the hint. Okay, which mechanism the competing species? So the interaction is competition. Might would have evolved for their survival. First one, resource partitioning. Second one is competitive release. Third one is mutualism. Fourth one is predation. Mutualism, predation, no, because it is a competition. So competitionally, I have told only two. One is exclusive principle, or that is a competitive release. The other one is your resource partition, right? By which they live in. So which one would that species would have evolved to for their survival? Options are four: resource partitioning, then it is your competitive release, mutualism and predation. Anyway, mutualism and predation they will not come. So the option is between resource dividing and then your competitive release. Which one you will select now? Why? 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 I want to survive. Okay. The right answer is resource partitioning. Because when we divide our resources, both of us can survive. Whereas in competitive release, what is happening? We are eliminating the superior so that the inferior. The species which are restricted to a small biogeographical area, when you remove the superior organism, then I can expand myself. So that we will not do, because in a competition benefit, if you want, it is resource partitioning only. If you do release, one is moving out from that. Next, if carbon dioxide is withdrawn from the biosphere, which organism would first experience negative effect? Very direct question. Option: primary producers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers. Why not primary producers? See, if carbon dioxide is withdrawn in the biosphere, which one is going to see a negative effect? Producer, primary producer, secondary consumer and tertiary consumer. Anyway, we will need consumer. Now you tell me whether it is producer or primary producer. First, what is the difference between producer and a primary producer? Have you come across with primary producers in the ecosystem? Yes? Yes? If you have a book, please take and check now. Primary producers, simply I can say producers. Both are same. But when producers is given, don't go for primary producers. Got it? Both are same only. Next, take down. Match the following. Match the column. First one. Only column 1 I will tell. Column 2 you have to tell. Okay. Herbivores and plants. Take down the column 1. Herbivores and plants. Second, mycorrhiza and plants. Sheep and cattle. Third one. Fourth one, orchard and tree. Okay, orchard and tree. What type of interaction it is? Commensalism. Any epiphyte. What is an epiphyte? A plant growing on another plant. Okay, generally you will find much of your orchards growing on your another plant. Epiphyte is commensalism. Then sheep and cattle. Sheep and cattle. Competition. Mycorrhiza and plants. Herbivores and plants. Predation. Okay, so select it. Okay, now again ticks and dogs. Ticks on dogs. Ticks on dogs. What type of interaction? Parasitism. Okay, next sparrow and any seed. Sparrow and any seed. Predation. Epiphyte on a mango tree. Okay, then you have orchard and then you have your Thanks, Alice. Okay, now next one. Okay, area of soil. Take down this because this part we did not see. Take down this question. An area of soil is thoroughly wetted. And allowed to drain until capillary movement of water is stopped. Area of soil is thoroughly wetted and allowed to drain until until capillary movement of water is stopped. The water content of the soil will give an estimation of its A. Capillary water, B. Storage water, C. Field capacity, fourth gravitational water. What is the answer here? Generally, when you see a water or a water content, when you add on to the soil, you will find a capillary water. Then you will have hygroscopic water. Then you will have your water vapor. Then you have combined water. Whenever you add water to the soil, this is how the water percolates and it goes in. First one is your capillary water. It is available for plants or not? It is available for plants or not? It is available. What is hygroscopic water? What is the hygroscopic water? Hygroscopic water will be bound to the soil. Okay, so it won't be available to the plants. Next you have water vapor. Then you have combined water. Combined water is the one which combines with a chemical. So that is also not available. So these are the three water which won't be available for the plants. Only till capillary water the plant or root can take it. Got it now? Understood? This is how the water gets distributed when either it rains or you find or you irrigate the soil. Got it now? So here if you could see in all these three will talk about the field capacity. When you calculate all these three, that is your field's capacity. Got it now? Below your combined water, you will have gravitational water. Now, read the question and answer. Read the question and answer. I told you how the distribution is. Capillary water available, hygroscopic water vapor, combined and gravitational water, they are not available. So when you calculate these three, there comes your field's capacity also. Now read the question and do. An area of soil is thoroughly wetted. That means you have added water. And allowed to drain until, allowed to drain means allowed to pass through until the capillary movement of water is stopped. That means completely the water is being present which is there due to the capillary action. It has crossed this level already. The water content in the soil will give an estimation of, because it has crossed already over here. So now when you calculate the water content, what is the estimate that you will get in? Capillary water, storage water, field's capacity or gravitational water. Answer is there. Field's capacity, because already it has crossed capillary water. Got it now? And storage water becomes your gravitational water. And it is not available. Next is when you calculate, you can calculate only up to field's capacity. Understood? Next again. partial regulators. Got it now? Okay now. The effect or the impact of immigration on a population density is negative, neutral, positive, both positive and negative. Immigration positive. Immigration positive, it will add no. Okay now, if I say the interaction, tell whether it is right or wrong. Shark and suckerfish, commensalism. Okay, algae and fungi, mutualism. Orchards growing on a tree, parasitism. Commensalism. Cascata growing on another flowering plant, epiphytism. Cascata growing on another parasitism. Parasitism. Okay, it is much easier for a smaller animal to run uphill than a large animal because small animal can run uphill than the large animal. It's easy for them because option. Small animals have high metabolic rate. Small animals have low oxygen requirement. It is easy to carry because of their small body weight. Next, the efficiency of the muscles in large animal is less than the small animals. High metabolic rate, low oxygen requirement, body ka weight is less. Efficient muscles in less efficient muscles in large animals than small, which is the option. We have not studied this at all, right? There is no option. First think logically. Did we talk about the body weight anywhere adaptationally? No. Did we talk about muscles anywhere? No. Left out is only oxygen requirement and high metabolic rate. Both we studied, right? And one more thing, if a smaller animal has got low oxygen requirement, can it do the work? Can it run very fast? No. So what is left out? High metabolic rate. So like that you have to rule out. Understood? Okay, decomposers are also called as transducers, reducers, micro-consumers, both B and C. Decomposers are also called as transducers, reducers, micro-consumers, both B and C. Micro-consumers are decomposers? They are, because their size is very small and they are not because of their size, they are going to convert them into simpler matter again. So it is both B and C. Okay, who constitute? Producers constitute the first trophic level of detritus food chain. It is right or wrong? Producers constitute the first trophic level of a detritus food chain. Producers, yes? What do you mean by detritus food chain? Decomposing food chain. In that you will find producers first or decomposers first? Decomposers first. That's wrong. Got it understood? Okay. Okay, which of the following is not an attribute of a population? Natality, mortality, species interaction and sex ratio. Species interaction. What is the shape of the biomass in a lake? Pyramid of biomass in a lake. Upright or inverted first? Inverted. Energy? Upright. What is the shape? What is that shape called as? Spindle shape. Spindle shape. fungal association. Pinus seed cannot germinate and establish without fungal association. This is because it has an obligate association with mycorrhiza. Second, it has a very hard seed coat. The seed contains inhibitors that prevent germination. Embryo is immature. Remember, in case of stop talking. In case of pinus seed, they will have inhibitors which will prevent them from germination. So they want a fungal association to break it up. Shall we start? Yes, okay. Only this is coming in chorus one. Yes, ma'am. Next. Okay, next module we are going to talk about biodiversity and issues. Okay, next 2 lessons of ecology that we are going to. So when we talk about biodiversity, what we are talking about? We are talking about heterogeneity. Got it? So when you talk about heterogeneity, heterogeneity occurs at all level you can find them. You cannot restrict the heterogeneity or the diversity in a species to a particular level. So the term was given by Edward Wilson. Edward Wilson is a person who has given the term of biodiversity, but the concept was developed by Roshan. W.G. Roshan is a person who has developed the, what do you mean by the ecosystem? What is the concept that has been involved over there? Okay. So when we talk about biodiversity, we can talk biodiversity at 3 levels. One is genetic biodiversity, species biodiversity, and then you have ecological biodiversity. So in case of genetic biodiversity, within a species you may have different varieties. Okay, different subspecies may be present over there. So that you talk about, that is your genetic diversity. Got it now? So when you take a plant, that is your Rauwolfia what is the plant name? Rauwolfia vomitoria. When you consider that plant, it secretes an alkaloid substance called as reciprine. Got it? It's basically used to treat fever. Got it? And certain few protozoal infections and all, it can cure it. But when this plant is studied, or the alkaloid content of this plant, when it is studied and it is distributed throughout your Himalayan region at different altitude, you are able to find. So they were able to find a difference in the content of that alkaloid. So as the climate has varied in, what has happened? The content of the substance also has shown the concentration of the alkaloid also variation has occurred. That comes under your genetic diversity. Then talking about the species diversity, the different species which are present in an ecosystem, that you call as your species diversity. So you can take an example of amphibians or any group which are being present, and you can compare between two systems. That means when you talk about your frogs or the amphibians which are present in your Western Ghats, you have much higher diversity when compared to that of your Eastern Ghats. Then moving on to your ecological diversity. So in case of India, if you could consider it lies in the tropical region. A part of it lies in the tropical region. Throughout India, if you could see, you can find a various climatic conditions. So various ecological regions also you can find. We have desert, we have mangroves in this, We have rainforest, temperate forest, evergreen forest, okay, alpine we have deciduous forest. So as the variation occurs in throughout, so we have different ecological regions also have been present in, and you can find the ecological diversity also, right? So when we talk about the diversity, species diversity on the earth, they don't know exactly how much species are there on the earth. Till now, nobody has counted it exactly. Most of the ecologists, they assume that we have done it, but still it exists because it's a continuous process. Evolution is also a continuous process. So continuously it is happening in. So where the species is added, when it is added in, when they are coming to know and then they are going to study, they don't know. But roughly on an estimate, they say that it is around 20 to 50 million species are present on the earth. And we have studied at least or approximately 1.5 million species we have studied now. But a scientist, that is your, or an ecologist, sorry, Robert May, he says sensibly that around 7 million species are there. We have approximately studied over a little bit about in the 1.5 million species. So remaining are yet to be discovered in, and then we need to document them. That is what they talk about. And in case of biodiversity, whether plants have higher diversity or animals have higher diversity, animals have higher diversity. That is around 70% you have it. Roughly around 22% of diversity you can find in plants. And in case of animals also, or among animals, insects are the one which are at the higher diversity. For every 10 animals that you take, 7 of them will be your insects that you find them. Whereas in case of plants, they are included algae also in that category, and then among plants, fungi are the one which have the higher diversity. This you should know, they will ask you. Got it now? And then there is a graph which talks about the distribution of various species among invertebrates, vertebrates, and also in the plants you can find it. So among invertebrates, who is present at a higher level? Insects are the one which are present to a greater extent. Then you have your mollusca group that has been present in. In case of your plants, if you could see it, fungi are the one which are present, and then you do have angiosperms which are present to a greater extent. They have been present in. Okay, a overall view they are trying to give in what are included in each category, right? Now, where do you find the species diversity to a greater extent, and what is the pattern that they follow when you talk about species diversity? The first one is latitudinal gradients. So what do you mean by latitudinal gradients? In which part on the globe our country is located, that determines your species diversity. Generally, if you could see, around tropical region, the species diversity will be more. That is the first thing that they are trying to say. Okay. So why in case of tropics, if you could find it, the diversity is more? First reason is stable temperature, warmth is there, good, less seasonal, good sunlight is there throughout, and then not much variation. They are less, or what is that? Much variation is not seen in, or they are less seasonal. So there is a stability. There is no fluctuation in the climatic condition to a greater extent. So automatically in the tropics you will find a very good species diversity. Got it now? That's what they are trying to tell. Then following your latitudinal gradients, what do you have? You have your species area relationship. Who has given this relationship? Alexander von Humboldt has given this species area relationship. So what he is saying in a species area relationship? What he is trying to say? So there are two types of graph that you will see over here on the line. One is a straight, other one is your curved line. Got it now? So he said that when you start increasing your area, species richness will also increase in, but only up to a limit. Beyond that, you don't find a species richness to a, what do you mean by species richness? It is the diversity of the species which are being presented. You don't find to a greater extent. On the graph, what he got is a rectangular hyperbolic curve is what that he has gotten. But when you convert them into a logarithmic scale, what is the formula? What is the formula for the hyperbolic? I am not asking about log. I am asking about general one. S is equal to CA power Z. You convert a logarithmic form of it, you get log x is equal to log C plus Z log A. Okay. So, when a graph what he plots is a rectangular hyperbolic, why he want a logarithmic curve or a logarithmic one? For example, both of us are comparing a species diversity in two areas. I will draw a graph like this. You will draw a graph like this. Can I differentiate what does it mean? It's very difficult to interpret it. Got it? Suppose if it is going to be a straight line, if I make the line steeper, what does it mean steeper? See over here, if this is the point, my area x and then y. Suppose if I consider the same area over here, lesser number of area, but the same species diversity, I am getting it. You are able to get it? So, when a graph becomes steeper, straighter, automatically the area is reduced. Automatically the species diversity is more. So, as a result, your, what is that? The area is less and the species diversity also increases. So, remember, steeper the graph is, species richness is more. And you can interpret it well with a logarithmic line rather than a rectangular hyperbolic line. Got it now? And even if you take the area to be a larger extent, then the value will be somewhere around, normally the value, what is your S? Species richness. C stands for? C stands for? Z stands for? A stands for area. Got it? Your Z stands for? Slope of the line. Got it now? What does C stands for? What does C stands for? What does T stands for? Area is A. Okay, area is A. What does your C stands for? What is Y? Okay, fine. S is species richness. A is area. Z is your slope of line. That is your regression curve. Okay, your C stands for y-intercept. That means the point where the line is going to intercept. Please see the graph given in your picture. Is it touching the x or y axis? Is it starting from 0? No. Why? Why it is not starting from 0? If I draw this line till 0, what does it mean? The area which I have taken has got no species. 0 means no species. Will you get that condition? No. Even a soil that you take in, where you are not seeing a visible plant and animal, you will find bacteria in that. Got it? So there is no condition. That is why your C is your y-intercept, that we will call it. Understood? So these are the things that you need to know over here, and when you take a larger continent, the value will increase and it will come up to 1.1 to 1.2 is a value that you will get it. Okay. Are we conserving the biodiversity? Are we conserving the biodiversity? Yes or no? No. Okay. Okay, see, India land area, when you consider with that of your world land area, roughly it is around some 2% only. 2 to 2.5% is our land area. But when you talk about the biodiversity, the area what it covers is larger. And India is one of the mega diversity centers. Got it now? Among the 12 mega diversity centers, India is also one. But what happens is that we are not conserving our biodiversity to a greater extent. So already it is predicted that there are 5 mass extinctions have happened. That is pre-human era. Before human could come in and dwell in, there are 5 extinctions have happened. Okay, large amount of invertebrates or the aquatic animals we have lost it. But they are predicting that in a near future, we will have the 6th extinction also, and that is because of the human activity, and humans are very much responsible for it. Because of our activity, we are going to lose a large number of species onto the earth. The rate at which we are spoiling the or we are deteriorating the earth, in near future, in around 20 years, almost half of the species will become extinct. That is the prediction that they are giving in, and the rate they predicted is around 100 to 1000 times faster than what has happened earlier. That much frequently and at a higher rate it is going to happen. So the whole blame comes to the humans only. And there are a lot of species which have become recently, within last 20 years, there are a lot of species which have become extinct, like your toadu, and then your Stellus sea cow, and then quagga. Okay, and then you have your what is the subspecies of tiger also, if you could see, Java, Bali, and then Caspian. These are some of the species which are becoming extinct also. Okay, if you continue this, then what will happen? There will be no species loss, will be to a greater extent. Got it now? So species diversity is very much important, explained by 2 people. One is David Tillman. What did he say? What did he say? Who knows? Okay. He said that more the diversity in an ecosystem, more stable is an ecosystem. That is the idea he has given. He has worked under Amazon rainforest, much of his work is. And what he has observed is the area which has got a much higher diversity, the stable is the ecosystem. Because if one species could not survive when there is a change in the climatic condition, the other one will survive. So ecosystem will come back to its form and they can remain as such. So that is the idea which was given by him. That is by David Tillman. There is one more ecologist who is Paul Ehrlich. Okay. Paul Ehrlich, he gives a Rivard-Popper hypothesis. What does this hypothesis says in? What does this hypothesis says? The hypothesis says that the whole of our ecosystem is like an aeroplane. The body of the aeroplane, one to another, is linked with a lot of screw and nuts. The screw nut bolt is called as your rivet. Okay. So each and every organism in our ecosystem is like this screw nut. That is your rivet. So if you remove one nut, what will happen? The flight will fly, but there won't be stability, but it will fly. Suppose if I remove a screw or a nut which connects the body of the aeroplane with that of your wings, will the aeroplane will fly now? No, it won't fly. So in an ecosystem, biodiversity is important. All organisms are important, but there are some organisms which are called as your keystone species. Usually they will be less in number. Keystone species usually, that's mentioned as key species in your system. So keystone species will be less in number only. But if you remove them, then whole of your ecosystem will go off. It will collapse. Generally, remember, top predators are our keystone species. Generally, top predators are keystone species. Don't think it will be your producer or your species. They won't be. Got it? For example, if you could see in your Yellowstone National Park, the first national park which has been set up, after few years it has become dead. Literally, they were not able to revive it to a greater extent. Okay, then ecologists went and survived it, and then they looked into it. They said, like, just let us introduce 12 wolves into the system. Again, it will come back to the life. The reason is that once the top predators were not there, herbivores have started to grow. When herbivores start to grow, automatically what will happen? Producers were there and herbivores have started to eat them, but you don't have somebody to feed on that herbivores. So they were there like that. So when they introduce the wolf, what has happened? They will feed on the herbivores. So herbivores will feed onto the grass. If they have left without letting that wolf, continuous feeding of these herbivores on the grass, and as the number also will increase and they start to move, so grasses as such will be destroyed. At one stage even grasses won't be there and they cannot survive, so total collapse of that system. Okay, so here the wolf, what they introduced is the keystone organism or the keystone species that they call them as. Okay, this is the hypothesis and which they say that it is very much important. One. The second thing is, okay, it is not in our hand. Let the species are getting extinct, let them get extinct. We are not able to do. What will happen? First thing is there won't be a stability of the ecosystem. It will collapse. Second thing is productivity will go off. There won't be any productivity. Starting from your producers, they won't be there. Okay, that is one. And we are dependent on the diversity for lot of our uses. We want food, fodder, timber, fuel, medicine. We are totally dependent on their natural resources. That is even for plants and also for the animals we are dependent on. On a broad scale, if you could see, they are part of our oxygen and the carbon dioxide cycle. So many biogeocycles are, it's a cycling process which are happening. Got it now? So again they should cycle and then they should come back. So if you keep on destroying this, then our ecosystem won't exist for a longer number of time. And the third thing is, are we only the species who have to live in this earth? No. They also have an equal chance. Okay. So only you be living in this doesn't give a value or the good atmosphere to this environment. So they should also be a part. We are here, bird is chirping. It's nice to hear it. Wind should come in. So trees should be there. Got it now? So it's not your own property. So ethically you should give a sustainable future for the next generation also, to your future generation. So we have to conserve the biodiversity. That is the idea that they are giving in. Now the next is how you are going to conserve them. What are the different ways by which you can conserve the biodiversity? You have ex situ and in situ methods that you can follow them. So what are the various ex situ and in situ methods that are available? What are the various ex situ and in situ methods that are available? What is first in situ? What is in situ conservation? Wherever they are, conserve them in their habit, in their natural condition, wherever they are living in. That is in situ. In the house only, you do it. Got it? So here you have, till now, hotspots. Then you have protected area. In protected area, what you have? Till now, national park. Then you have wildlife sanctuaries. Then you have your bioreserves. Biosphere reserves that you have in. Got it now? They all come under your in situ conservation. On the other hand, you have ex situ also. In ex situ, what all you have in? Ex situ is outside. Your number is less. I have to protect you. So I will take you into the capture, breed you and safeguard you. That is your ex situ. What all comes under your ex situ? Botanical garden. Then you have zoo. That is your zoological park. The last one, wildlife. Cryopreservation. Got it now? That is your cryopreservation. So first one, hotspots. Got it now? How many hotspots are there in India? 3. 3 or 4? 4. Himalayas, Western Ghats, then Indo-Burma. That is your northeast regions. The last one is Sundaland in your Andaman and Nicobar. So 4 we have. Got it now? Order is Himalayas first. Then you have your Western Ghats, northeast. Then you have your Sundaland and Andaman and Nicobar that you have in. Then next, what is the highlight of hotspot? Which region you call it as a hotspot? You have species richness and also endemism. What is endemism? Species which are restricted only to that given area. You don't find it anywhere else. They are called as endemic. What is exotic? What is exotic? That is extinct. Extinct. Exotic means which are there and a variety which is found in a particular area. But I have the right to bring it and grow it onto another place. For example, you have Nagpur oranges. They are exotic varieties found only in a Nagpur. But nobody says that don't bring that fruit over here, don't grow the tree over there. Nobody will say. We can bring it. But endemic organisms are restricted. You cannot take them to the other place. They are found only in that area, and if you take them, they may lose their diversity and then they will be lost. Got it now? So you are supposed to maintain them. You are able to get that? That is the difference between your endemism and exotic variety. Then what you have? You have protected area. What do you mean by protected area? Conserving them, preserving them, restoring them for the future in their natural habitat. You call them as your protected areas. So first one is your national park. What do you mean by national park? How many national parks are there? 90 national parks are there. In case of national park, first remember it is government run. Government only takes care of it. No human activity, no human settlements are allowed over here. Mainly to protect the animals. Okay, human settlement, encroaching them, poaching them, hunting them, killing them for any of the product is not at all allowed. That is your national park. Whereas when you say sanctuaries, private ownership can be given. Like you have nice road, right? He has built very good nice road. We are very happy to travel also. Yes, but how much biological diversity has happened? God only knows. Got it now? So here in case of sanctuaries, private ownership will be given. Human settlement is also allowed in. Tribal people who are living or the community which is living over there can live. It is allowed in. Got it now? But preference is for animals only, plants only. You are able to get it. You would have seen going for a safaris, or you maybe you would have built a road in between the forest. You will be traveling in. If an elephant crosses or the lion or tiger crosses, who should be given the preference? Animals only should be given a preference. No hunting, poaching, nothing can be allowed. But you can be there. They can take the products which are available from the forest. It can be enjoyed in, but up to a sustainable level. That is your wildlife sanctuaries. Understood? Next comes your biosphere reserves. You tell now, one of you, biosphere reserves. What are biosphere reserves? Biosphere reserves is an integrated system where they divide the whole of the natural habitat into 3 zones. You have a core region, you have a buffer region, and then you have a transition region. Okay, core region only animals, the forest, center part. Nobody is allowed. They are maintained. Whereas in case of your buffer zone, you have the institutes, education institutes, research institutes, which for the goodness or to maintain the animals and the plants. They can it can be a visit also to them, basically to develop and to preserve the biodiversity. Then at the last zone, transition zone, you have your human settlements. But human settlements cannot cross this buffer zone. The area is very much restricted. Living in nature, both the humans and also animals, but without disturbing them. The concept of biosphere reserves is brought up by UNESCO. UNESCO is the one who started this, who initiated it. They started a program like Man and the Biosphere. Okay, Man and the Biosphere, and they have initiated a program. In that they wanted to preserve the biosphere reserves and the parks which have been present.